Hello again, friends. Thanks for joining me. We're still with a cloudy day here. And I thought I heard thunder in the background, but I think it was actually a ship in the harbor dropping something heavy. For today's Bible story, I'd like to read from Matthew chapter 20, verses 1 to 16. And I read from the New Living Translation. Again, Matthew 20, verses 1 to 16. And Lord, please bless the reading of your word. In your name, Lord Jesus. Well, Matthew 21 to 16 is the parable of the vineyard workers. So that was what was the purpose of this story? And way back when? In Sunday school, we told children that it's to teach about God. Well, let me read the parable of the vineyard workers. Verses 1 to 16. For the kingdom of heaven is like the landowner who sent out early one morning to hire workers for his vineyard. He agreed to pay the normal daily wage and sent them out to work. At 9 o'clock in the morning, he was passing through the marketplace and saw some people standing around doing nothing. So he hired them, telling them that he would pay them whatever was right at the end of the day. So they went to work in the vineyard. At noon and again at 3 o'clock he did the same thing. At 5 o'clock that afternoon he was in town again, and he saw more people standing around. He asked them, "Why haven't you been working today?" They replied, "Because no one hired us." The landowner told them, "Then go out and join the others in my vineyard." That evening, he told the foreman to call workers in and pay them, beginning with the last workers first. When those hired at 5 o'clock were paid, each received a full day's wage. When those hired first came to get their pay, they assumed they would receive more. But they too were paid a day's wage. When they received their their pay, they protested to the owner. "Those people worked only for 1 hour, and yet you've paid them just as much as you paid us, who worked all day in the scorching heat." He answered one of them, "Friend, I haven't been unfair. Didn't you agree to work all day for the usual wage? Take your money and go. I wanted to pay this last worker the same as you. Is it against the law for me to do what I want with my money? Should you be jealous because I am kind to others? So those who are last now will be first then, and those who are first will be last." Word of the Lord. I imagine that the purpose of this story from Jesus' point of view may have been to teach us that God is generous. Just like that farmer, the last will be first and the first will be last with God. Jesus made clear that to enter the kingdom of heaven, well, it's by God's grace alone. Remember this first, and particularly if you are or feel superior because of heritage, position, or having spent so much time with Christ. Second, for new believers, I think this story should be an assurance of God's never-ending grace. And third, we should never begrudge God's grace to those who turn to God in the last moments of their lives. Yes? Be blessed until we see each other again.